Good evening and welcome back to our weekly question and answer series for Anash.org. Question regarding a process challah. How does that work when buying pasisrul bread, or for that matter any bread, from my local Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, etc.? Hechsher is okay, MK, etc. Do they have take challah before, or do I have the chiyuv to set aside a piece of bread or bagels for challah? A organization which gives a hechsher, a reliable organization, like you mentioned, the OK, the MK, which give a hechsher on bread, you don't have to take challah. A part of the hechsher is also that if it is mechiv b'challah, that means if it is a Jewish bakery, then they will take challah. That's part of the hechsher. It could be pasis ruel, but not necessarily you need to take challah, because if it's a non-Jewish bakery, but it is pasis ruel because the Jew open up the flame, put it into the oven, etc., so that's pasis ruel, but not necessarily it's mechiv b'challah, because it's owned by a goy. But in any case, if it has a reliable hechsher, you don't need to take challah. If it is that you have to take challah, they took already challah. And if it is not mechiv b'challah, so for sure you don't have to take challah. So no, you don't have to take challah. It's being taken care of. Question: if I am in the house, in the home of a non-frum Jew, and they are offering me kosher vodka, whiskey, etc., it is in doubt whether they sold their chomotz to when they purchased the bottle. Also, does it make a difference how long after Pesach it is? People could own these beverages over several years. Yes, this is a very good question, a very serious problem. Whiskey, which is chomotz, has to be sold Pesach for a goy. If not, you cannot drink it because it's chomotz overall for Pesach. So if you go into a house which is a non-shomer Shabbos, non-frum Yid, which bepashtos he is not selling his chomotz, and he has whiskey, you have a serious problem of drinking their whiskey, because it is chomotz over all of a Pesach. If you ask him when he purchased it, and he told you after Pesach, that's one thing. We're going to see in a minute. But at least, if you had it before Pesach and it didn't sell the chomotz, you cannot drink this because it's chomotz. You have to understand that's only if it's chomotz, because you mentioned also vodka. Vodka not necessarily is chomotz. There are vodka which is made from potatoes. And but if it is a chomotz like whiskey, then if he had it before Pesach, it is chomotz over Pesach. And if you don't know how long he has it, you should not eat it, drink it, because you have to assume that he didn't sold the chomotz, and it is chomotz over all of a Pesach. That's when you're going to a private person's house. When you're going into a liquor store and you're buying whiskey, if the store owner is a non-Jew, then you have no problem. You could buy it. If the store owner is a frum Jew, a Jew, but he did not sell the chomotz, if you could ask him when he got in the order, that would be the best thing. So if he got it in after Pesach, so he wasn't in the possession of this Yid over Pesach, so it's not chomotz over Pesach, and then you could buy it. If he got it in before Pesach, you cannot buy it. If you cannot ask him, then you have a problem. It might be he had it before Pesach. I once heard from a liquor store in our local area, he told me that usually a liquor store, after 4 months, everything is already changed. All the liquor is he gets new. He sold already. Usually after 4 months, he sold all the liquor and he got new. So it's within the 4 months from Pesach, and you buy it from a Jewish liquor store which did not sell the chametz, then for sure you should not buy it. If it's more than 4 or 5 months, could be you be lenient. I don't know if all the liquor stores have such a turnaround, but he told me that most of the stores will have it after 4 or 5 months. They will have a turnaround of all new liquor. So at least if you buy it after 4 or 5 months, and you cannot ask him and be mavarer, you can be lenient that it's only Lamaaseh Chomesh Pesach is Osir only midrabanan, and therefore it is a knas. So therefore over here you have a sufik drabanan. You could be lenient because you have also a strong tzad that there is new already, and he didn't have it before Pesach, and it's not chubar shur for Pesach. But if it's within the 4 or 5 months, and you know he didn't sell the chametz, then if you can't verify that he got it after Pesach, don't buy it. Question: should you add on a Shabbos licht for a child that passed away a few hours after birth? There's a tshiva from my Brandzafer regarding this. It's published in a Kovetz Dvar Avruam, Gillian Zayin Simabais, and he writes that if you started to tzend already for that child, then you should continue tzending, lighting that licht, because it is as if you are makabel already to add on a licht for that child. So therefore, you should keep on this minik. But if it is within, you didn't add on any licht, you didn't pass a Shabbos, and you didn't add on any licht, you don't need to add on a licht for a child that passed away. You could add on if you want, but you don't have to add on. It depends on the feeling of the parents if they want to add on or if they don't want to add on. But if you started already, it is as if you are makabel to tzend an extra licht, and therefore you should keep on continuing lighting the candle. Question: in the previous shir, the Rav mentioned about cashback from a credit card. My question is, if I lent my card to someone else to make a purchase and I got points or cashback, is there a problem with ribas? A very good question. As we know, a person which lends his card for someone else, he has to make sure that there's no interest paid on this card. Because if the person which borrowed the card, will pay the interest, it will be a problem of ribas. Because he's paying ribas to that person which lent him this card. But the question here is, if I lent my card for someone else and he uses this and I am getting points or cash back, is this also a problem of ribas? And the answer is no, it's not a problem. Shulchan Aruch and Simon Kif Samach Yoredeya Sif Yid Gimel, the Mechaber writes, a person is allowed to say for a friend, over here you have $10, and please lend my friend $100. But with one condition, that the person which lends the money gets it from someone else, and the person who gave the money should not ask it back from the guy who borrowed the money. That means Reuven borrows money for Shimon, And Levi gives money for Reuven that he should lend for Shimon. And he gives him money. So that's not a problem. If Levi will not go then afterwards and tell for Shimon, give me back the $10 which I gave for Reuven. Why? Why is it not a problem? Because Ribas is only when it comes from the loiva to the malva. But if it doesn't come from the loiva to the malva, there's a third person which gives you something in order that this loan should come, it should come to be fruitful, then it's not a problem of Ribas. So in our case, I lend my card for someone else, for my friend. He uses it. Who pays me the points? Who gives me the cash back? The company. So the person which got my card, which basically I lent him my card, which that means I lend him money, does not give me anything. A third party gives me points and gives me cash back. And therefore, it is not a problem of ribas, and you could lend your card even though that you are going to get points because your friend is using your card. Not a problem. Question. Using a can opener on Shabbos. Do we need to ruin the can by making a hole on the bottom before opening the top with the can opener or not? Lekitchila, when a person opens a can, which is a can of tuna, or any can, it's kedai, he should open it before Shabbos. Because in such a way, he goes out from all the problems. Because after all, there are poiske which say that the heavy-duty cans, which it's made for tuna, for corn, for peas, all these things, is not considered a kli geria, and therefore, by opening up the cover, you are making a keli, because now when it's closed, it's not a keli. It's closed from all sides. When you open the cover, now you have a keli. So therefore, it is not considered a kli geria, which is permitted to open on Shabbos, and therefore you cannot open it on Shabbos. So therefore, the best thing will be if a person can, should it open it before Shabbos to be yoyse all the shittas. But if a person did not open it before Shabbos, and he has to open a can in Shabbos, then the way to do it is like you just mentioned, you make a hole in the bottom, and since you make a hole in the bottom, you're makalkel the kli before it becomes even a kli, and then even though you are going to open on top and take over the whole cover, it did not become a kli, because a kli which has a hole is not a kli. So if a person cannot open it before Shabbos, or he doesn't want to open it for whatever reason, the way to open it is, like Tchila in Shabbos, is to make a hole in the bottom, and once you make a hole in the bottom, even when you're going to open it on top, it's not going to be a kli. So therefore, that is the solution to open it on Shabbos. But if a person has the option, he should do it before Shabbos. But if he doesn't have an option or he doesn't want, he can do this lekitchila on Shabbos when he makes a hole in the bottom. Question. When I calculate my maser, I usually try to give a little extra. 12%, 14%, just in case something I thought was a real tzedukah was a fraud, etc. My intention is that I should cover my maser obligation and give extra tzedukah. I got cash back on my credit cards, but the money goes as a credit to my account to pay the bill. I did not know I had to calculate maser from the cashback credit. So now, what do I do? Can I calculate starting from now on, or do I have to go back? If I have to go back, would that be from Rosh Hashanah this year, Tovshin Pei Beis, or for how many years before that? Or can I rely on the extra amount I was giving every year to cover the cash back. So the answer for you is the years which you basically gave already, you made all the cheshbonos of the maser, you don't have to calculate back, go back to years. And you could rely that you gave on the extra 12%, 14%, that should be also included in the cash back from the credit card. So you don't have to start making over new cheshbonos. But from now on, that means Tovshin Pei Beis, which you did not give the cheshbonos of Maser, or if you go according to the Goyish calendar, if you did not make the calculations for 2021, this year you should start making the cheshbonos and include also to give Maser from all the cashback which you got from the credit card company. Now, although they apply it to your bill, but that's still considered getting money. Therefore, you should make the cheshbonos of that income and give that included in Maser. Question. On Shabbos, while I am serving, I often remove vegetables from the pot and place it in a bowl. Can I put it back into the boiling pot of soup if it's too much? My question is not about boiler, only that the plate is cold or room temperature, the best. In other words, is it a problem that it will cool off the soup? I don't see any problem of taking cold vegetables and putting it into a pot of soup which is not on the fire, and the vegetables will not become yatzoldas boy. So if when you're gonna put back the vegetables and it has some water, it's still a lach, and it's going to become a yatzoldas boy, then you have a problem. But if it's dry, no liquid over there, or even if there is liquid, and when you are going to put it back into the pot, nothing will become a yatzoldas boy. The vegetables will not become yatzoldas boy. So you have no issue at all to put it back, because bishul is only when a thing is yatzoldas boy. If it's not the yatzoldas boy, there's not a problem of bishul. And if it's a dry thing, there's no liquid at all. So even if it becomes yatzoldas boy, it isn't a problem, because there's ein bishul achar bishul by aduva yuvash. So to answer your question, if it won't get yatzoldas boy, which I doubt it will after it's not on the fire anymore, then you have no issue to put it back into the pot. If it becomes yatzoldas boy and you have liquid in it, then it's a problem. Question. As I was looking for a top hanging in my closet, I realized that one of my tops was hanging between my skirts. Is it a problem of boiler to take it from between the skirts and place it in the right place? So the poskim right is brought down in a lot of poskim, the mecheschenech and etc. and other poskim, that there is boiler also by clothing. Not only by food, there is boiler, there's also by other things, by toys, by anything, and including clothing. So if a person has clothing which are mixed together, he cannot take out something which he doesn't need. He can take out something which he wants to use, la'alter, with all the klulam of boiler. He can take out the thing which he wants to use right away, and he can put it on. But he cannot take out one which he doesn't belong there, because that's called boiler psoilis v'tach oichel. And also you cannot sort clothing, because also of the chashash of boiler. So, getting to your question, if the top which you realized it is between the skirts was right next to each other, that means it was close that it is in a matzav of mixed together, yes, you have a problem of taking it and putting it on the other side or where it belongs, because that's called boirer psoilis metachoichel, and it's not la'alter. In any case, you have a problem. But if it is not in a matzav of mixed together, it's not close between the skirts. You have a skirt, and a little bit further, a feet away, you have the top. And then you have another skirt. It's not right together, so it's not of a matzav of boirer. Then you have no problem of taking the outfit which you don't want it should be there and putting it between where it belongs. But once it is in a matzav of boirer, that means it is together, you have a problem of taking out the top which you don't want it should be there and putting it where it belongs, because you have a problem of boirer. Okay, thank you for joining us, and please join us again next week and send any questions to inbox@Anash.org. Good night and have a wonderful week.